this close. I was edging this close. All right, the video says Disney cancels Snow White's premiere. It's panic time. Ooh, let's see.
You know, watching the absolute calamity that is Snow White unfold over the past year or two, I'm reminded of those dudes up in the lookout tower on board the Titanic. They spotted the iceberg looming ahead of them, telephoned their warning to the bridge, even though they probably could have just shouted. I mean, it doesn't look that far. And now there's nothing they can do except watch as their shiny new boat plows straight into 100 million tons of frozen water. Uh-oh, the insurance company's gonna be feeling the pain tomorrow. The point I'm making here is that anyone with even a surface level understanding of the film industry, plus legacy entertainment journalists who like to pretend it still matters what they think, has known for a long time that this movie was headed for absolute disaster.
Okay, so I think this movie in one way or another might potentially do well. Given the fact that I believe I heard this movie was almost an upwards of $300 million to make. I heard from the grapevine that's how much it cost. But the thing is, we were like talking and listening to Film Threat, and I was listening to a bunch of other people who were giving Moana they're basically giving Moana a review. But what happened was that the movie, in terms of it being a movie, compared to the first Moana movie, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. A lot of people didn't like it. Jeremy Johns said that, after one T-1 day, you forget it. Film Threat said that it's not good. The music is, it's not memorable. A lot of people said the movie was not good, but it still passed $1 billion in the box office, which is considered a success. Now, this movie, I think China might have a lot to say, or maybe other countries might have a lot to say. US probably not so much, but other people outside of the US might actually make this movie a success, which I hope it isn't, but it might be. It might be a success. That's the thing. Like, given the fact that, yes, the whole the tensions between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler is not looking so well for the movie itself, a lot of people outside the US don't really care. So let's continue.
Whether it was the baffling casting choices, the laughable DEI parade pretending to be dwarves, the nightmarish CGI monstrosities that replaced them, the hypothetical star whose complete inability to shut her mouth quickly and efficiently turned her into one of the most toxic celebrities in Hollywood, or every piece of official media released about this film getting ratioed so far into oblivion that it practically formed its own quantum singularity, vanished out of space and time, and emerged on the other side of the universe, Event Horizon style. The warnings were all there, and they've been discussed at length by every content creator on YouTube, but now at last, we have come to the crunch, dear viewer. The last few days before the movie releases, when the old PR machine has to grind itself into high gear and take on the seemingly insurmountable task of getting people enthused for Snow Whites.
I would say like I said before, and I'll say it again, if Rachel Zegler did not say anything, anything at all, I think the movie would just be like, oh, why did they cast Rachel Zegler? She looks like Snow White in terms of her face being wide, right? Her eyes being far apart, her eyes being, big and bulgy, and her face being really wide. But in terms of her skin, of course, it doesn't match, but it doesn't matter. That's just all like, okay, it doesn't look great, but it is what it is, right? Now, if she didn't say anything, the movie would probably not lost that much, what's it called again? Holy shit, Celluloid, thank you so much for 9 months, man. That's so fucking loud. Thank you so much for the 9 months, dude. Thank you, Celluloid. But yeah, I think that if Rachel Zegler basically kept her mouth shut, none of this would have happened. But the thing is that she's an activist first. So that's the reason why she had to say the stuff that she needed to say, is because of her fan base. It's because she has a big following on Instagram. So they're going to be like, oh, what are your thoughts on this Palestine stuff? What are your thoughts on Israel? What are your thoughts on this and that? If she didn't say anything, the movie would have been fine.
And well, I think it's fair to say they've got some hurdles to overcome. Hurdle the first is the dire box office predictions, with the film expected to make just over 50 million on its opening weekend, which is only slightly higher than the Marvels managed, and that movie eventually struggled up to $200 million worldwide.
You play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
See, the thing is that I don't hate Brie Larson. I completely forgot about Brie Larson. Like, I don't care about her anymore. right? Brie Larson is better looking than Rachel Zegler, though. That's true.
Yes, Brie, I want that. I want that with all my heart. Not very good for a film with a reported budget of 300 million. Hurdle the second is the widely reported spat between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler because they clearly have very different perspectives.
Imagine, I'm gonna go back just a little bit right over here, right? Sorry, chat. But look at that goddess. Look at that Amazonian woman. Jeez. Man. When I first saw her in Fast and Furious, I'm like, who that? Give me some of that.
Have very different perspectives on the whole Israel-Palestine issue, which means it's hard enough to get them to even share the same room. Never mind go through the kind of excruciating, fawning interviews where they clutch each other's hands and pretend to be soulmates or whatever, which seems to be expected at this point. Damn, man, all we're missing is some guy who sounds like he uses sulfuric acid as mouthwash to ask them about the gayness level of their movie.
The gayest Marvel project yet.
You know, the kind of big questions that clearly need to be asked about the art of cinema.
Yes, yes.
But the biggest hurdle, and this truly is a biggie, is that the film isn't even getting a traditional premiere anymore. It was reported a couple of days ago that the film's intended UK premiere in central London has been cancelled because of fears about the backlash to the movie and its star.
The anti-wokeness thing is pretty hilarious, right? It's wild to see how these people are still okay with like DEI, wokeness, and ESG, and a lot of these studios are basically renaming it to calling it inclusion, right? What, you don't like inclusion? Because like the whole diversity is already sort of played out and washed out. People don't really care about it, but there are a lot of companies out there who are going to be hammering it even more, right? There's a couple companies that I know of that basically said that DEI ain't going anywhere. It is the core values of our studio, and we will beat you guys over the head with it until you get tired of hearing the word DEI, because it has to be ingrained into your day-to-day job and when you hire people, which is fucking crazy, man. This is absolutely insane that you are using DEI first and foremost to hire all of these shit, which is wild.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
And to be honest, I can totally understand why they did it. The potential optics of Rachel Zegler and the rest of the cast getting publicly booed by a big crowd at the premiere of their own movie would be the sort of thing that goes viral within a matter of minutes. The problem is, this is kind of like digging one hole to fill another, because cancelling a major premiere means less publicity, and less publicity means less interest in the film. It's also a very public acknowledgement that yes, people really don't like our movie because we don't know how to win them over, and all we can think to do now is run and hide. That was all bad enough by itself, but then the news broke.
Wait, what? Disney scales back Snow White Hollywood premiere amid Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot controversies. Wait, are we talking about like the fucking oh shit, the El Capitan, El Capitan? Oh damn.
Yesterday that even the film's US premiere is being drastically scaled back, which means no red carpet event, no real media presence, and no chance for the stars to speak to journalists and promote their movie. Red carpet events are
I love red carpet events when it involves Sydney Sweeney. Man.
Red carpet events are actually pretty important media tools to promote your film, and the fact this movie isn't even getting one is a major sign of Disney's lack of confidence in it. Again, I can totally understand the thinking behind it, because let's be real here, putting Rachel Zegler in front of a hot mic is a bit like putting a toddler with ADHD in charge of a nuclear launch button. Every time she opens her mouth, and by God, she loves to open her mouth, you can practically feel the Disney bean counters dying inside because she just shaved a few more $1 million off the film's box office. It's funny actually, because she even tried to spin all of this backlash into some kind of weird puzzle.
No, you can't anymore. You spinning it does not do jack shit. Is because she said we gotta make Trump voters fucking uncomfortable or some shit like that. You make sure the Trump supporters and Trump voters know no peace. more than half of the country voted for Donald Trump, and you come and say that, like, the culture is completely shifted. She cannot save jack shit. Okay?
Positivity, a bit like Henry Cavill did with The Witcher, except without the sincerity, or honesty, or respect, or charisma, or general likability.
Look, Henry Cavill's he's Henry Cavill. He's hot. I'm not gay, but he's hot.
Quotes. I interpret people's feelings about this film as passion for it, and what an honor to be able to be part of something that people's so
I'm
passionate
glad the
about.
drinker
We're
had
not
the
always going to have the
cleavage
same
showing.
feelings as everyone
God,
around us,
man.
and all we can do is give our best. Bullshit! Really? That's an interesting change of heart you've had there, Rachel, considering your previous attitude towards people who think differently from you.
Yep.
Go vote blue.
No.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
It never followed to begin
I
with.
don't need your business.
All right. No problem.
Right.
The thing is, hiding a problem away isn't the same as actually solving it, and the more you retreat from a controversy like the one swirling around Ziegler, the more you're forced to acknowledge that it does in fact exist. She's the one who caused it, and you don't know how to fix it. If you demonstrate a lack of confidence in your film and its star
So right over there, Snow White star, a PR disaster for Disney.
before it even releases, you're sending out the message that you know it's gonna suck and you're simply trying to hunker down and minimize the damage. And wow, this movie's likely to cause quite a bit of damage, not just to the concept of live-action Disney remakes,
damn,
but
so-
to the
damn,
company
she's so fucking
itself.
ugly. Holy
At this point,
shit.
it probably would have been better to just abort the theatrical release altogether, shart it out onto Disney Plus and take the financial hits. At least that way, Disney could make up some obscure combination of viewing metrics to spin it into some kind of success. This film had the most number of minutes viewed on a Thursday afternoon for any live-action remake of an animated film made in the first half of the 20th century. Instead of being confronted by the raw box office numbers, which, well, aren't looking
53
good.
million.
Shit, man, it probably would have been cheaper and easier to remove.
So the thing is that I believe that 53 million box office number is a domestic, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's a domestic number. So when this movie, when it releases or premieres or whatever worldwide, it's gonna be completely different. But like I said, I think this movie has a chance of it getting a lot more money than we initially thought, is because there are a lot of people who support Rachel Zegler. There are a lot of people who don't care about the conflict between Palestine, Gaza, Hamas, or whatever, Israel. And so many shit that's happening around the world. I think there's a lot of people who don't care.
Zegler from the movie altogether and reshoot all her scenes with a new actress.
That would have been great.
Oh well, just like those guys in the lookout tower watching that iceberg drift closer, there's not much more for us to do now except sit back, crack open a couple of cold ones and wait for impacts. Something tells me it's going to be an entertaining couple of weeks. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
No! Don't go away! Come again! I was this close. I was edging this close. But anyways, chat, it's a good video. I will be watching it. Gray will be watching it. We will be reviewing it in about, it's next week? Holy crap. Yeah, next week we'll be reviewing it. That's a good video. Always like the drinker and his takes and stuff like that. There it is. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the video, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there it is, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This is that the good one. Yeah, that the good one.